surprised to see the two of them fall in with each other so quickly, since Tierney is usually reluctant to trust anyone, but Andros's steady nature seems to be the only thing that soothes her these days. Andros catches sight of Farron and blinks in surprise, and I realize that the lupine beta is likely the only other male Amaz Andros has ever seen. Farron straightens as Andros and Tierney approach.
"I am Farron Sandolph,"
he says to Andros, holding out his hand.
"Beta of the Gerewolf pack. I am Andros Volya."
Andros introduces himself in turn, shaking Farron's hand.
"Son of Astrid Volya."
Farron's eyes widen.
"You are Andros?"
Andros looks questioningly at him, seeming puzzled by the strong response to his name.
"I am Sorcha Xantippa,"
Farron continues, his face serious.
"You paired with her?" "Yes, as is our custom." "But Sorcha, about 3 years ago, you lay together." "Yes."
Andros's brow knits together in confusion. Farron's face becomes oddly grave as he looks across the dining hall.
"Soraya,"
he calls out.
"Will you come here?"
His mate nods at him and makes her way over to us, holding their little boy in her arms. Her pleasant smile falters as she takes in Farron's serious expression.
"This is Andros Volya,"
Farron tells her pointedly, gesturing toward Andros.
"Sorcha Xantippa's mate."
Soraya's crimson eyes take on a look of astonishment, and her gaze immediately makes its way from Andros to the child in her arms and back again. For a moment, she seems utterly dumbfounded. "Andros Volya?" Soraya finally says, her voice filled with emotion. "This is Connor, your son." Tierney and I gasp, and Andros's mouth falls open in shock, his eyes riveted on the boy. Little Connor smiles shyly at him as he clings tightly to Soraya.
"Sorcha brought him to us,"
Farron explains, laying a steadying hand on Andros's shoulder. Andros is frozen, stunned into silence. "Would you like to hold him?" Soraya asks gently. When he fails to respond, she comes closer, offering the toddler out to Andros. Connor looks up at him, unafraid, as Andros lifts him into his strong arms. The boy reaches up with small fingers to touch the side of Andros's face, tracing the lines of his rune tattoos. Andros begins to cry. Farron and Soraya move to embrace him, and Connor's eyes dart around at everyone as if confused. He reaches up to touch the silent tears falling from Andros's eyes with a tiny fingertip. "You are part of our family now," Soraya tells Andros, her own eyes brimming with tears.
"I never thought I would find a place for myself anywhere,"
Andros replies, voice rough.
"I thought my mother and I would always be alone."
"There are others like you," Soraya explains. "There are 4 men with Amaz ancestry in the Northern Pack." Little Connor, perhaps put off by all the strong emotion surrounding him, fidgets agitatedly and reaches for his mother. Andros kisses the top of the child's head and hands him back to Soraya.
"Come, Andros,"
Farron says, placing a hand on his arm.
"There is much to discuss."
Andros turns to Tierney, his face a tumult of emotion as they exchange a weighty glance. "Go," she says, forcing a rare smile. "I'm so happy for you." Andros nods, then departs with the lupines. My eyes meet Tierney's. I can see everything she's feeling in her troubled expression, how this friend she's rapidly grown so close to will likely be absorbed into a lupine world she is completely shut out of, because Tierney has no desire to be anything other than what she is, Azrai Water Fae. "I can't talk about this," she says sharply, grimacing in response to a question I haven't voiced. "Unless you want me to inadvertently summon a very fierce storm." Her eyes flick toward the ceiling. "Right here, in the middle of this blasted Yule Fest." Before I can even attempt to say anything, Tierney turns on her heel and stalks out of the hall. That evening, after spending a few hours with Uncle Edwin at his Verpax City lodging house, I set out to find